So hello and welcome to my presentation, Abortion Pill Rescue Updates and Victories. I'm so thankful to have you here all today to learn more about this life-saving ministry, how the progesterone protocol works, the way the abortion pill reversal functions, and how you all can get involved. Chemical abortion is steadily on the rise. We need all of those who are called in to join on behalf of the unborn and mothers who experience regret. The landscape of abortion has changed globally, but APRN offers a second chance at choice. So who I am, I'm Ashley Vance, a nurse from British Columbia, Canada. I joined Heartbeat International as a hotline nurse in 2019 and absolutely loved the mission. I felt a strong pull on my heart as I was completing nursing school to do something pro-life, and I'm grateful to say that my role has been one of my greatest blessings. I'm also a wife, a mother to my amazing children, and I am a follower of Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the source of all salvation. So the topics we'll be covering today are learning what chemical abortion is and isn't, describing the science of mifepristone reversal, the prevalence of chemical abortion, and how we can answer the call and challenge of chemical abortion through abortion pill reversal by examining the latest data. How to approach women with love and compassion. APR clients are unique. These are not abortion vulnerable women. These are women actively in the midst of it. All throughout today, we will celebrate APR victories, and you will see updates our ministry joyfully has experienced. Lives like Evie's. What we are discussing today is not abstract. These are very real lives on the line and at stake. Lives like Evie's featured here. She is beautiful, wanted, and needed by the world. More lives like hers are being rescued at this very moment, and while this is happening, women are being saved from the trauma and devastation of abortion. A few names of abortion. As you may know, there are many forms of chemical abortion, but today we are covering chemical abortion and the primary medications used for this purpose. Chemical abortion is a two-step process. It starts with a woman taking the first pill, which is called mifepristone or RU486 or Mifeprex. This is followed up with the medication misoprostol, also called Cytotec, to complete the abortion. This is commonly what we see on the hotline, and most women experience regret after taking that first pill. This is where APR comes into play. However, everyone is different, and sometimes regret can occur after all the chemical abortion pills have been taken. We'll talk more about that shortly. There's also a chemical abortion drug called methotrexate that can be used to end a pregnancy, but what we see that very rarely on the hotline, although there is a protocol that can be used to support these pregnancies as well. Chemical abortion and what we are discussing today is different than emergency contraception such as Plan B. There is common confusion around this, and while emergency contraception can have abortifacient effects, chemical abortion is the attempt to end a known pregnancy. There is no reversal known for emergency contraception, and we are unable to assist those clients outside of referring them to their local pregnancy center for women's health services. So the standard abortion pill protocol. This slide demonstrates what a standard chemical abortion protocol commonly looks like and is used by abortionists. Of course, this can vary, but something along this line is normally what we see at APR. It goes something like this. Day one, the client would be prescribed mifepristone, 200 to 600 milligrams PO or by mouth. 6 to 72 hours later, they would be instructed to follow up with misoprostol, 400 to 800 micrograms PO, which is by mouth, via her buccal mucosa, which is inside her cheek, or inserted vaginally. Day 7 to 14, confirmation of fetal demise and an empty uterus is expected, and the pregnancy is passed within 2 to 24 hours after. As women are in the midst of pregnancy crisis, relationship turmoil, fear over financial restraints, or whatever barrier a woman is experiencing which leads her to consider to end the life of her unborn child, there's an advertising campaign ensuing. You can see here how drug manufacturers market mifepristone. The package is very soft and feminine and calming. It's got peaceful curves to it, and it almost looks like an answer to her concerns in a box. You can even see here how they call it the early option pill, which sounds very benign and easy. However, we know that the battle of life and death is very real, and you can see how every step of the way in this process, there is deception and a polishing of the truth of what lies ahead for these women and what really is in that box. Chemical abortion is marketed as many people make financial gain and money off this process. The advertising usually consists of imagery and the experience being natural, or they use phrases such as the missed period pill or menstruation inducing, as if they're just assisting her body's own cycle. I've even seen the words gentle cleansing or womb washing on websites before, and they cite the abortion as a time to relax and for self-care. I've seen packets with chemical abortion offered with tea, slippers, bubble bath, as if it's a spa-like moment for a woman in need. I've talked to countless women who are unprepared for the amount of bleeding, pain, and labor-like cramping they are experiencing, and I believe it's largely due to the misinformation they receive from this type of framing. Outside of the advertising campaign around chemical abortion, there are many reasons why a woman would choose this option if she were seeking to end her pregnancy. Mail delivery is as common as an Amazon package now, and these pills can be easily sent through the mail to your front doorstep. Abortion pills are usually offered at the time of positive pregnancy test, when she may be in a state of shock, surprise, panic, or overwhelm. I've had clients commonly tell me I didn't even have time to think about it. The process can be done privately in one's own bedroom or dorm without anyone knowing what's occurring. Using this method is as quick as taking a pill and is generally considered less painful and risky than a surgical abortion. It also gives clients a greater sense of control as they can decide when and where to start the abortion. It is even taken in emotional moments when the barriers feel too big. Women have commonly reported taking the first pill after a fight with their boyfriend or husband, when the financial strain felt too great, maybe there was concerns regarding finishing school or college, or maybe they were kicked out and pressured by their parents. The regret clients feel is commonly quite immediate and comes shortly after taking the pill, when they have time to step back and realize the full reality of the situation. I've spoken with a woman from the parking lot of an abortion pill who was even in the bathroom, and she ran there to immediately throw up the pill and was panicking, still located inside the Planned Parenthood. The shame clients feel can be quite overwhelming, deep, and painful. I spoke with a woman once who was begging me to help save her baby. She was alongside her boyfriend on vacation in New York when she started the chemical abortion. We were able to connect her with a provider and get her started on her progesterone moments before the pharmacy closed, and I say that is my own personal Super Bowl moment. Clients having reported driving by a life-affirming billboard after taking mifepristone and feeling led to find help. Many speak about God and hoping to be able to be forgiven for their decision. Some are even active within their church. There are many reasons why women feel deceived into believing abortion is the best option, but we know they feel the darkness in that decision, and the Lord can lead them back to help, hope, and a future for their unborn baby. A client recently stated, "I'm really pro-life and I don't believe in abortion at all. I don't know how I got into this, and I felt like I had to make a decision." You can see demonstrated here that we've all fallen into the trap of deception, wrong decisions, and choices we regret. Many who have started chemical abortion are having that exact experience, but in an incredibly deep and painful way. They thought this was a solution, a fix, but then they learned that it was a lie. Despite this reality, chemical abortion usage continues to rise. According to pro-abortion advocates We Count report, for the first half of 2025, January to June, there are approximately 591,770 total abortions in the United States, with a growing portion being ordered via telehealth, reaching 27% of all abortions. This is an increase from 2024, with providers under Shield laws facilitating around 14,770 monthly abortions into restrictive states. According to the Canadian Institute for Health Information 2023 data, the latest available, there are 101,553 chemical abortions reported, the first time over 100,000 in 8 years, according to the information released in March 2025. Sadly, these numbers are expected to continue to increase as availability continues to expand. On a larger global scale, according to the World Health Organization for worldwide abortions in 2025, there are approximately 73 million annually across all methods. The proportion of these that are chemical abortions is increasing, especially in countries where access to healthcare or surgical options is restricted. Globally, about 39% of all abortions are carried out using chemical abortion. Sadly, we also expect this to continue to rise in the years ahead. And while I know all of this can seem heavy, and it is, I wanted to take a quick baby break just to remember all the women who made the courageous and brave decision to feel the tug on their heart for their child and choose another path like this sweet girl's mom did. And while we all love the babies, toddlers, and little ones of every size, some are growing into big kids. A mom recently commented, "How crazy to come across your email while waiting in the preschool pickup for my miracle child who is now 3 years old. We are doing great. He is thriving. Super smart and funny boy. Every day I think about the day I almost lost him due to taking the chemical abortion pill. I'm glad God spoke to me and told me about APR. God makes beautiful miracles. My little one is one of them. Thank you for all you guys do to help other moms and families in making the right choice to keep the babies. Prayers for all." And that's what this is all about. Moms, babies, dads, families, and generations to come. The reality of chemical abortion is that it's typically quite painful and not a minor process that many are led to believe. A woman told us, "It was one of the most horrific experiences in my life. I was told by the abortion clinic that it wasn't a big deal. It was easy and private," she remembers. "The pain lasted for 2 days. It felt like I was in full-blown labor. I was alone in one of the bathrooms of my apartment." We hear statements like this frequently, as the pain is often labor-like, intense, and involves heavy bleeding, large clots, and strong cramps that mimic contractions and past fetal tissue. Clients have told us that they've passed the remains of their baby, only to be surprised that it looks like a baby, because it is, and not just a random blob of cells. One client was unsure of what to do with her baby and reached out to us. Some bury their children alone. Some devastatingly choose to flush their baby, not knowing what else to do. This usually happens as she is alone, scared, in pain, and without support or any medical supervision. Here again, we see a lack of understanding as to what is truly happening inside of her pregnancy-wise and after initiating chemical abortion. An APR client said, "I saw the embryo. That medicine was so painful. I thought I was going to die. Is that really expected, or is that just me? How does the medicine even work in my body? This is not medical care, nor is it care and compassion of women and their babies." Many states have done great work towards moving towards ending abortion with restrictive laws and legislation. However, chemical abortion remains steadily accessible as shipping is available worldwide and easy to keep discreet. Presently, there are 72 unique websites in the US, 30 abortion websites, and roughly 42 pharmacy websites at this very moment ready to ship, package, and distribute these pills. There are many more than we are even aware of. In countries like Canada, telehealth abortion is available through the mail, quick pickup at a pharmacy, via your local hospital, or through community OBGYN. This creates easy access even for those in remote areas. From AP News, a survey finds that 8,000 women a month get the abortion pills despite their state's bans or restrictions. This is a very hard reality for those who have worked so hard to prevent the evil of abortion in their state, and while we commend their good work, we cannot ignore the present landscape. We quite routinely see hotline nurses who have traveled to another state to get their abortion, or those who have simply picked it up in the mail. Aid Access, Hey Jane, My Body, My Choice are all online distributors of the abortion drug. NPR also reports that despite states' bans, abortions nationwide are up due to the rise of telehealth. There are also many underground networks operating outside the law, continuing to funnel medication abortion to women with no proper assessment or medical care. While we love and pray for the great pro-life work of so many legal teams, such as Alliance Defending Freedom, this just highlights the continued need for APR, education regarding life at conception, and further life-affirming advancement. Because the reality is, while this is all no longer occurring just at abortion clinics, it's happening everywhere. Ordering the pills, directing the timing, implementing the process now makes her also a patient and her own abortionist, and her home the facility in which her child's life is ended. This is true of dorms, workplaces, and all the locations where women are ingesting mifepristone, misoprostol, methotrexate, or any other medication with the intent to abort an unborn baby. This is an additional weight and trauma for our clients, who then have to remember the pills on the counter, the blood in the bathroom, and the pain of choice that occurred in her home. However, there is a path or an off-ramp for those who have changed their mind. Words like this are honey on our soul. I felt such kindness and love from your team. At Samaritans, they've only been loving and caring and not judgmental. I truly think that is the difference of how loving and dignifying these services are. God is so kind, you are so right. Yes, so much redemption and grace today with my husband, who was aware of everything the whole time. But it's been a journey, and we are growing stronger together. A trend we have seen at APR is because clients are so unprepared and expect something along the lines of their usual cycle, they will take mifepristone and expect to continue on with their regular life activities. For example, I spoke with a woman who had started her abortion and was on an airplane as a flight attendant. In the air and while working, she started to feel regretful. I can't imagine what she was going through in that moment, going through all the motions of assisting passengers, all the while just waiting for the flight to land in order to find help. Thankfully, we were able to connect her during a layover. Another called us from her break as a school bus driver. All this to say that due to chemical abortion and its accessibility, this may be occurring at any place, space, or time. Having proper diagnosis and care in pregnancy loss is so important to limit physiological impact on a client, as seen in the NICE study, placing these women at a much higher risk for harm. The recent push from Big Abortion has been to expand the pill's accessibility, especially on college campuses. Remember that these young women may not even be speaking to a medical professional, and they may not have even had proper confirmation of their pregnancy, meaning that an ectopic pregnancy or other healthcare concerns may not have been addressed or even ruled out. Family is often unaware, and many times so is the father. All of this is done in secrecy, darkness, and deception, as those around her believe she is safe and receiving her higher education. Here you can see a list of campuses who have already rolled this out. Despite the opposition, the political landscapes that are commonly skewed against us, and a society that devalues life, and the entire power of the enemy, we are so honored to say that we have over 8,000 lives saved and counting, thanks to APR and all the individuals who assist in this network. On average, we speak with about 6 to 8 clients a day, and in our opinion, the more, the better. A woman is likely on the hotline at this very moment. Let us pray that she is choosing life. Each life saved is a gift to us all, and they are all a unique, important, and valued individual. Seeing these numbers tick up year after year has been so exciting, knowing that we are reaching women despite opposition and the advertising limits placed on us by Google and other tech giants. In many ways, the word about abortion pill reversal has been grassroots and grown by God himself. Finish what you started. That is something clients have repeatedly told us that the abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, or doctors said when they asked for help or if reversal was possible. It is so cold, dismissive, and difficult to know that this is what they hear in a moment of regret and shame while reaching for a way out. I pray for the glorious day of the very last abortion and for no woman to ever hear this phrase again while trying to rescue the life of their precious child. We believe in truth and honesty, so hearing that clients are often counseled not to be honest and disclose the medication that they've taken is heartbreaking. Learning that they are sometimes encouraged to report it as a miscarriage is incredibly dangerous and could delay her from receiving urgent, necessary medical care. Here we see from a chemical abortion group what to say at the hospital. Do not say that you took abortion pills. They cannot be detected, and they have the same effect as a natural miscarriage. Just tell the doctors you are having a miscarriage and describe your other symptoms. Moms like Noah's here that overcome all this confusion and darkness are filled with so much courageousness and bravery. Having clients lie to their medical team is dangerous for so many reasons, and our friends at the Charlotte Loziers research found that miscoded patients were twice as likely to be admitted for surgery for retained tissue. Miscoded patients were at a significantly higher risk of multiple hospital admissions for treatment of complications from the abortion. In other words, having a woman mislead her healthcare provider by not disclosing a medication she has taken, in this case chemical abortion, can cause significant and lasting harm. Surgery contains risks and complications that could have a lasting effect on her future reproduction. This is unsafe and dangerous, and frankly, women deserve better than this. And here we see from one of our care providers at APR, I cared for a woman with a negative pregnancy test 2 months after chemical abortion who had dead retained tissue in her uterus that required surgery. They are ignoring the reality that only live tissue produces HCG. Simply put, having a client using a home pregnancy test to see if her HCG levels is dropped and she is no longer pregnant is not an accurate way of providing her medical care. This client still had fetal tissue remaining inside of her chemical abortion for 2 whole months that had gone undetected. Only live tissue produces HCG, which the test detects. Not only is the abortion itself a tragedy, but all of this is occurring unsupervised and unmonitored. And while so much darkness is occurring, moms are fighting through and creating their family as God intended. Like this family here. Without the APRN, the little boy in the middle would be missing from this photo. His brothers and sisters would miss a sibling. Grandparents would have one less life to enjoy. A classroom would contain one less friend, and the world would be missing him. Chemical abortion not only takes from a mother, it takes from us all. So while the abortion industry denies that reversal is possible, families prove them wrong each and every day, and they are proof that hope exists. Because as the Bible says in Isaiah 49:1, before I was born, the Lord called me. From my mother's womb, he has spoken my name. We believe that to be true. The thousands of lives saved is a testimony to just how much God loves these babies and wants to save families from the heartbreak of abortion. Despite the mainstream narrative, we know that women regret their abortions, and many do so almost immediately. A client once told me that she knew she had made a mistake the second the pill went down her throat. Our very own Rebecca Hagan speaks about feeling led to believe termination was her only way out, but as soon as she chose that for her baby, it was as if the enemy blew the candles out in her life and said, "Gotcha." How amazing and beautiful it is to be able to fix a wrong, especially with a topic as final as abortion. Thanks to the APR, we can reach, renew, and rescue. All of this heartache, hurt, and pain can be countered with the life-saving APR protocol. Let's take a look at what it is, how it works, and the science behind the rescue. APR was founded by Dr. George Delgado, a California-based physician who one day received a phone call from a sidewalk counselor who was helping a woman in El Paso, Texas. She had taken mifepristone and changed her mind. They were hoping they could stop her chemical abortion. After speaking with Dr. Delgado, he said he would think on it, and using his knowledge of using progesterone in pregnancy, he likened it to a woman who would have low progesterone levels and appeared to be miscarrying. Using his expertise, he surmised that although the progesterone levels may be depressed, they are certainly being blocked. So he suggested supplemental progesterone, hoping it could perhaps outnumber and outcompete the mifepristone and save the baby. It also worked in that case, and that's how this all got started. At APR, we commonly say it's just progesterone, because that's all it really is, also known as the God-given hormone. It's not complicated, elaborate, or even expensive. The first pill, mifepristone, works by blocking this important component to a successful pregnancy. So simply put, our protocol is designed with the goal to outnumber and outcompete the mifepristone with progesterone. That's it. No complex intervention. Simply put, it's just more of the pregnancy hormone created by the creator. Dr. Delgado, a founding member in the APR protocol, explains this so well. The analogy he uses is that mifepristone sits in the receptors like a key to the lock, but it doesn't turn the lock. This allows us to add progesterone back into our body until the placenta takes over, and this is usually around the 13th week of pregnancy. Progesterone is not taken for very long overall, normally just a few weeks depending on when her abortion is started. Mifepristone does not directly attack the baby. It works by destabilizing the pregnancy. This allows us to counter its effects by giving her more of the hormone that the abortion pill is attempting to block. It is important that the progesterone used is bioidentical micronized progesterone. The APR protocol does not work with synthetic progestins, which are commonly used in oral contraception. This is because bioidentical hormones are man-made hormones that are very similar to the hormones made naturally by the body and can be used as a treatment when hormones are low or out of balance. Progesterone has an important role, and it supports the pregnancy by preparing the endometrium, it develops the placenta, it inhibits premature contractions, and it keeps her cervix closed. The progesterone protocol is recommended for dosing when countering mifepristone, but how is dosing of the progesterone decided? Client dosing is decided by an APR provider who works with the client to ensure she receives the progesterone in a way that is best suited to her needs. The APR protocol is a guideline. We even have recommendations for first, second, and third trimester, so no matter when a client initiates her abortion, we can assist her. Chemical abortion is typically started before the 10th week of pregnancy, but it may be also used for surgical abortion prep, so we are able to assist clients who choose life for their babies even moments before a surgical route is taken, depending on what medication is used. The APR protocol can be administered to a client in multiple ways. And progesterone is stocked at most pharmacies. This is part of what makes APR so successful. What she needs is standardly located in her nearest pharmacy, no matter where she lives. In many nations, it's even available over the counter. Progesterone is covered by most insurance carriers, and it's low in cost. It varies depending on the area, but it's normally about $20 to $30 a week, and it can be lowered if a client can afford this cost by ordering a lower quantity up front or by using www.goodrx.com. This can help her to find coupons for cost reduction. And again, the progesterone is usually only given to the end of the first trimester, the end of the 13th week. Not only is the APR protocol always prescribed at a provider's discretion, but no provider is obligated to assist a client. This is very important for those outside the network to know. If a provider feels uncomfortable for any reason or simply unavailable, they can always decline. The provider always assumes client care as they see fit, and we are so thankful for each of them. The APR would not exist without amazing prescribers on the front line with a heart for this work and the mums and babies that they serve. We need providers, especially within Canada, as we have so few in a very large geographic area. If you are able to prescribe or know of anyone who could, we would pray that you would pass along our network information to them. Progesterone does come with some side effects. These are important for women to be aware of. It includes sleepiness, lack of energy, lightheadedness, dizziness, GI discomfort, headaches. Increasing fluids and rest can help alleviate these symptoms. And because all of these just kind of mimic the first trimester symptoms, it can kind of be hard to know where they've originated from. There are some considerations when using progesterone, and the main one is that the oral formulation is made with peanut oil. Hotline nurses will conduct an assessment, which includes monitoring the client for allergies, ensuring the provider is aware of anything the client may be allergic to. If a peanut allergy does exist, progesterone can be given via intramuscular injection or formulated without peanut oil at a compounding pharmacy. There are also considerations for those with a personal history of breast cancer, as adding supplemental progesterone to a woman who may have had a hormonal-based cancer is contraindicated. However, we will still refer her, and a plan of care will be implemented and determined by her provider to ensure all of her individual needs are met. All imperative information is relayed to the individual assuming her care after the client signs a consent form with us, permitting us to do so. Let's get into some of the science and data behind the abortion pill reversal protocol. We can look at Dr. Delgado's 2018 peer-reviewed study, which found a 64 to 68% success rate, and that was oral versus injection formulations. No increased risk of birth defects, and that was seen 2.7 versus 3%, and a lower preterm delivery rate than the general population at 2.7 versus 10%. And I love this photo of the sweet APR baby in his sunnies and a very bright future ahead of him. I would love to shout this fact from the rooftops, and this is a central concern for many of our clients and one of the main fear tactics used by the abortion industry to dissuade clients from attempting reversal. Science shows that attempting a reversal protocol does not place your baby at a higher risk for birth defects. No outcome is ever guaranteed in any pregnancy, and it is always an attempt when it comes to reversal, but the birth defect risk does not increase. In fact, when it comes to progesterone safety, a 1999 FDA review revealed that no increased risk of birth defects in pregnant women taking progesterone. After more than 25 years of progesterone support in pregnancy, the Pope Paul Institute has stated all of the available evidence strongly supports its safety when used in pregnancy. And that while we know progesterone is safe, what about mifepristone? Does it cause birth defects? An American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists stated in its Practice 225 October 2020 bulletin that no evidence exists to date of a teratogenic effect of mifepristone. In other words, there are no associated birth defect risks when it comes to the medication mifepristone either. As many of you may know, ACOG is not exactly a pro-life organization either, so I love to use their quote, inadvertently supporting APR. Our goal is simple, to reach women experiencing regret after initiating a chemical abortion. Assess her needs, ensure she is a candidate for reversal, explain the process, all the while showing her love. We can then connect her with a pregnancy resource center or life-affirming physician to get her started on the life-saving progesterone as soon as possible. We want to give her the care that she deserves. I love this quote from a client named Heather, where she said, "Abortion for me was a decision made out of fear, but God has seen us through physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially. There's still so much ahead for us, but there's also so much hope. If the abortion had been successful, then I would have had a secret. Instead, God gave us a story." Those seeking reversal are often symptomatic. Oh, sorry. I'm out of line with my slides. It is important to note that a small amount of bleeding is expected with reversal clients. But it's also important to note that this is an effect of the pregnancy destabilizing mechanism of mifepristone. It's not coming from that progesterone that has been prescribed to counter these effects. Those seeking reversal are often symptomatic because they are in the midst of an abortion. They may be experiencing cramping, spotting, and passing of small clots 3 to 5 days post-mifepristone. It is important to remember that the baby may still be viable, and the chance to intervene with progesterone may still be possible. Ultrasound is our best tool to see how the pregnancy is progressing. Here's a quick breakdown of the different forms of chemical abortion outside of mifepristone. So misoprostol. This is the second set of pills taken in the standard mifepristone-misoprostol abortion set. These pills are used to contract the uterus and expel its contents. Most clients experience regret after taking that first pill. However, sometimes misoprostol can be taken before all of this happens. We do assist clients post-misoprostol, where progesterone can be taken more of a supportive treatment rather than an antidote. However, the APR protocol is designed for mifepristone reversal. There are other common forms of abortion, which I've mentioned, methotrexate, Plan B, laminaria, and digoxin. As I've mentioned, our ministry is designed for mifepristone reversal, and while we do assist quite routinely with misoprostol reversals as well. As progesterone does not work the same way in these cases, it can be given to provide the pregnancy with as much support as possible. However, it is important to note that there is a birth defect risk with misoprostol. There is a 4 to 12% risk of shortened limbs or facial paralysis in the baby, which is still relatively low. An APR provider once spoke of a baby born post-misoprostol missing a pinky toe. While in the scheme of things, this is incredibly minimal, it does count as a birth defect risk. Although between choosing life and missing a pinky toe, I think I know what most people would choose. Also, it is important to note that many babies have been born completely healthy post-misoprostol as well. The hotline is the go-between connecting clients with local support in her community. We strive to have her fully connected to her closest pregnancy resource center or life-affirming provider within 24 hours of initial contact. The APR hotline is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The APR provider assumes her care and assists with prescribing progesterone. Most of our contacts come through our friends at Optionline, which do a great job of sending all the abortion pill reversal clients our way. The hotline nurses then assist with obtaining her prescription to ensure there are no barriers at the pharmacy and then connect her with the ultrasound. There's also a healthcare team manager, such as myself, always overseeing all of this, all of the client care, and monitoring their individual cases. Pregnancy resource centers, oh, how we love them and their life-affirming missions. In the role of APR, they can connect a client with progesterone and offer a client ultrasound and life-affirming care. The goal is to have a client scanned with an ultrasound within 72 hours, but she needs local support. That's prenatal care, parenting classes, diapers, and so many other amazing services. Clients are referred to their local center also in the event that they have a loss for abortion healing if continuing with termination. I'm honored to say that more than 1,500 medical professionals administer the abortion pill reversal protocol through the Abortion Pill Rescue Network. Presently, the Abortion Pill Rescue Network helps over 100 women a month start on the abortion pill reversal process, giving their baby a second chance at life. Over 90% of mission-critical callers start the protocol after speaking with our APR nursing team. Mission-critical callers are those who call us and they're deemed a candidate for reversal at the time of speaking with us. All the babies you have seen today are lives saved through the APRN, and I've loved sharing all the client quotes throughout today's presentation. I wanted to share another victory in the form of Sierra's story, as written by Heartbeat International's Andrea Trudgeon in Pregnancy Help News. In the abortion facility parking lot stood a sign that read, "If you took the first abortion pill, it may not be too late, we can help." Through abortion pill reversal and compassionate ongoing care, Sierra found not only medical support, but prayer, encouragement, and dignity at a moment when she felt broken and alone. Progesterone treatment was promptly started and her pregnancy continued. Months later, Sierra welcomed her daughter Sawyer into the world. Sawyer was born healthy, thriving, and deeply loved. Reflecting on her experience, Sierra shared, "God didn't have to let me keep her. The fact that I have a healthy baby is just a testament that God is good and there's nothing that we can do to escape his love." Here's another photo of this beautiful family and Sawyer in the arms of her mom, safe alongside her siblings, just as God intended. Sierra has done so much amazing work, turning her own experience for good. She's even recently assisted an APR mom recently, and by sharing her own story, she saved the life of another baby. These women are truly so brave to share such a deep and personal moment in their lives. I can't imagine it's easy to tell the world about your biggest regret and your darkest moment, but they do so, and they do it with such courageous hearts. They pay it forward the best way that they can. Sierra also recently had Sawyer baby dedicated on Mother's Day at her church. I always like to say that the hotline never sleeps. We are always ready for her call anytime, as we're available 365 days a year and 24/7. All holidays and even overnight, we are here to find her help. Our hotline team consists of approximately 25 to 30 nurses from all over the US, and their tools of the trade are a laptop, a headset, and a huge heart. Most are mothers themselves and are an amazing group of women. Having a diverse background makes us all stronger, and each call they take is their own divine appointment. Many of our nurses have a pregnancy help background and several other pro-life missions. If you ever feel led, I would humbly ask that you keep them and their work in your prayers. Many are surprised to learn that they care for clients all around the world. The UK, Nigeria, Dubai, Colombia, our very own Canada, Mexico, the Netherlands, and Kuwait, to name a few. The APR hotline nurses also follow up with clients when their babies reach different gestational ages to check in just to see how things are going. We also offer a Facebook group, which is so amazing, where the clients can connect with each other and share their stories with others on the same journey. We are always as honest as possible with clients, and we speak the truth to her. We never make promises or deceive. The APRN simply does not refer for abortion, but always shows compassionate care for women and their precious unborn babies. If given the opportunity to pray with her, we always do. And if not, this is our chance to show her the love of our Savior, Jesus Christ. The path forward looks different for each woman, but the APR clients, all of them need abortion healing. We always refer clients to their local pregnancy resource center to connect with local resources aimed at abortion healing, and we also suggest visiting the website abortionchangesyou.com if they had a loss. But this need for healing is needed whether the reversal was successful or not. Connecting with their community church is a great place to start, and many feel open to prayer after feeling spiritual forces throughout this entire process. There are many great online groups such as Support After Abortions as well. No matter the outcome, those pills and that choice is something she will carry throughout the rest of her life. The reality is that this work is often hard, and the losses can be incredibly painful for our clients and us too. We lean on the knowledge that even those times when the reversal is unsuccessful, clients often express gratitude for the opportunity to save their unborn baby. They can take comfort in the knowledge knowing that they tried, and we take comfort in that too. We remember that everything belongs to God, especially in this ministry, the wins and the losses and everything that comes in between. We invite those in life-affirming missions who have held the weight of client abortions or abortion loss to fast, pray, light a candle, and rest in the knowledge that you've done your best. If you're not active in pro-life work, I humbly ask that you pray for us. It takes many to make a difference in this movement, from nurses and doctors to sidewalk counselors, legal and media teams, and donors of time and energy, pastors and various groups to push back against the darkness of abortion. In this work, we may be some of the few people on earth to even know of this life, and it is an honor to fight for each of them. Here are some great ways to get involved. Spread the word. Word of mouth is huge, and that's how the vast majority of clients find us. Billboards, flyers, and online, even TikTok videos are very common in reaching the youth. Dispel the myth that chemical abortion is final. Reversal is possible. Spend time answering questions, offering support and patient education, and saturate your community with abortion pill reversal information and links to the APR hotline and website. Clients reaching us directly is best. Please send us any outcome information you have on any lives saved. And last but never least, please pray. If possible, we would love to have you or your center join as an APR provider. We offer an APR provider kit that has everything you need to be able to provide APR, from an overview of the process, the APR protocol, complementary consents, supporting research, and much more. It's all free of charge. You can set your preferences for contact, your confidentiality will always be upheld, and you can make a true difference in the lives of generations. All you have to do is email info@apr.life or medical@heartbeatinternational.org. If you know of anyone who may even be interested in joining our network, please spread the word. As Galatians 6:2 teaches us, carry each other's burdens, and in this way we fulfill the law of Christ. This sweet girl here, her name is Queen, and her mother's name is Wisdom. If you ever have an abortion-minded client, please call us directly at Abortion Pill Reversal. The number is 1-877-558-0333. More information, and we have amazing client stories and testimonies. They can be found on the Abortion Pill Reversal website at abortionpillreversal.com. And to learn more about our network, if you have any questions, please email us at medical@heartbeatinternational.org. I wanted to leave you with one last quote. This one from a courageous and amazing woman named Rebecca. I completed nursing school, passing exams before and after delivery. My boyfriend is on his way to becoming a good husband. As I laid my son down to sleep tonight, I started to cry. Despite every trouble I have my son in my life, and no problem seems too big with him. He is God's miracle. He is God's gift to me and to this world. And I feel so blessed to be his mom. I just want to hold my miracle son and pass our story on to the countless people who are just like us, those who need an answer and a glimpse of God's real plan. To end abortion, we first must pray. Second, it is vital that as a community and society, we support women in pregnancy in simple ways. Show them your love, support, and care. Many that choose abortion are doing so in moments of despair and desperation when they feel most alone. If you know of a woman in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy, tell her that she is loved, and so is her baby. Because while we all have mistakes and regrets, her child is not one of them. Well, today I focused on the mother-child side of things when discussing APR. Fathers are just as important when it comes to women choosing life and in the lives of the mom and baby. Often they play a significant role in her choosing life for the unborn, and they need support too, and they also need a lot of encouragement and love. I wanted to personally thank you all for being here today and for listening to my presentation. I'm so grateful to get to share the work that we get to do about APRN, and I hope that it was a blessing to you. I also want to thank you for answering the call on your heart to fight for the unborn. I know that hearing that call can at times be difficult and with so much worldly opposition, but I truly commend your bravery. Lastly, please pray for us as we consider it an honor to pray for you all. I pray that the rest of your day is blessed and that all of your godly missions are highly favored. Thanks again.
Thank you, Ashley. I need you to stay here for just a couple of minutes. I just kind of would like to ask you a couple of things as it pertains to Canada.
For sure.
Are the majority of the calls that you get U.S. calls?
Yes, yeah. They're mainly U.S. based.
Okay.
But we do believe that's largely because of advertising. So there's a lot more action within the United States pushing for abortion pill reversal and these big, larger pro-life movements. So we do believe that with more information and people realizing that reversal is possible, that our numbers can continue to rise because we know that this is occurring in Canada right now at this very moment.
Mm-hmm. And so what is your provider situation like in Canada?
It's sparse, truthfully, but we do have several, like in each province, that they're so amazing and they're just holding the line that the best that they can. But if we could help take the pressure off these few people that are really just holding the weight of all this APR, that would be unreal. And having someone that she can connect with in her community makes all the difference, because she is in major indecision as this is all happening.
Mm-hmm. And so it's just progesterone. So why are providers hesitant to do it? Like when it comes to abortion pill reversal, why are, they would prescribe progesterone for their patients that were struggling without thinking about it. But why, when it comes to the abortion pill reversal, do they say, whoa, wait a minute, put the brakes on there?
I think they're very hesitant for legal repercussions. I think because it's so highly politicized that they have a lot of concerns kind of touching anything that's a hot topic conversation. So they would rather just leave it, or maybe send her to emergency and see if she can get progesterone there. But we know, and we have had successes that way. Also in Ontario, a woman was recently connected through her local emergency room, and she delivered a healthy baby. So God can't be stopped, but having these providers available is huge, and I do think a lot of it is concerns. If you type in abortion pill reversal into Google, it's bleak. There's a lot of opposition. There's a lot of New York Times articles and things calling this junk science and that sort of thing. But we agree with you. We even have T-shirts that say it's just progesterone. Truly, mifepristone comes with far more risks than progesterone does. So it's upside down, but as is the world.
Yeah, and I know that you did touch on it briefly, but one of the issues that a lot of the women taking the mifepristone is that they're doing it without really knowing how far along they are. And the maximum, specified amount is 10 weeks or something, right?
That's correct.
And they're taking it far beyond that.
Yes.
And so then that leads to?
Yes. Hemorrhaging risks. I've spoken to women that I couldn't even complete the call because she was bleeding so heavily in the moment of it. Again, further along than she had assumed that she was. And she was rushed to emergency room, and we weren't able to connect her or contact her any further out. So I don't know what occurred, but it is something that we commonly see. As you know, within Canada, you're probably not getting an ultrasound anytime soon to date your pregnancy. So they are just seeing a positive pregnancy test, ordering the pills, and starting their chemical abortion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that the pregnancy resource centers are so valuable, that a lot of them do come equipped with the... What did you just say?
Ultrasound.
The ultrasound. I knew there was a word there. I was gone out of my head. I'm getting old, right? Every gray hair is another memory lost. Yeah, so, I love it that so many of the items that you touched on at the end are what we're doing here as a house of refuge. It's so important for so many of the things that Ashley talked about. And, if you're even here today and you have abortion in your past, if that's something that you're dealing with, you don't have to deal with that alone. We've got people that will walk you through a Bible study that will, guide you and show you how God is forgiving you, loving you, caring for you. And this is not an unforgivable sin, right? You don't need to be alone in this. And on our Love Life table, and just ask whenever, we've got a lot of the little APR cards, just those little pink cards. Man, if you can have a couple of those, just in your pocket anytime, and just bang, give them to somebody. Joan and I have walked through a park and just, hey, have you ever heard of this abortion pill reversal? And they're like, what? But it leads to some amazing conversations, because most people don't even know that exists. Like, what? You can reverse that?
Yeah.
It's so amazing. And so it's really important that you kind of educate yourself on this stuff and be equipped to let them know, and even just memorize that phone number and the website. If you don't have a card, you can just say, hey, put this phone number in your phone, because they all have a phone, right? And just say, phone it, right?
Yep.
And what is the kind of the safety zone for them to be able to get a hold of APR and actually have the process work?
And like in terms of time?
Yeah.
So ideally, you want the sooner the better. We usually see clients within 24 hours. They will call us and feel that regret. But we've had successes even after 72 hours. So we can always, like you said, get her an ultrasound, confirm viability, and then support that pregnancy. So if there's any chance, we always want to take the leap and try and save that life. It's important and it's valued, and it's worth the time for an ultrasound, certainly. And as you said about the cards, I spoke with a client who left the abortion clinic and was feeling regretful. And she said, well, God, if I am supposed to keep my baby, please give me a sign. And she literally drove by an APR billboard, and she was like, well, there's a sign. I can't get away. Yeah. So she called us, and that it's just the knowledge that it exists is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and we're just so thankful that you guys are around and doing what you're doing. And just so blessed that APR even exists, and the numbers. Every time I look at the numbers, I see the saved baby numbers going higher and higher, and it's like, yes, thank you, Lord. This is so good, so amazing. So